What if reality is not what it seems? What if everything around you is only real when you feel it inside? This question shakes the mind because we trust our senses. But senses can be tricked, and feelings often define what becomes true for us. Think about your own life. Some memories stand out so clearly they feel more real than yesterday. Others fade, even if they happened. This shows us reality is not only about facts, it is about how strongly you feel them. When we say every reality is false until you feel it's real, it points to a hidden truth. The mind creates layers of reality. Only when emotion, belief, and awareness come together does something take form in your world. This video will guide you step by step. We will explore how feelings, beliefs, and perceptions shape your reality. By the end, you will see why your inner world has more power than the outer one. Reality is often described as the physical world. The chair you sit on, the screen you look at, the sound of this voice. Perception, on the other hand, is how your brain receives and processes those signals. It is not the same thing as reality itself. Your eyes do not see reality directly. They capture light and patterns. Your brain translates them into shapes and meaning. This means perception is already a filtered version of reality. You do not see the world as it is. You see the world as your mind builds it. Perception is powerful because it is personal. 10 people can look at the same scene and experience 10 different realities. Each one carries their own feelings, memories, and expectations that shape what they notice. That is why no two people ever live the same reality. Understanding this difference matters. If perception can bend reality, then your inner state decides what feels true. Change how you perceive, and your reality shifts. This is the foundation of the idea that nothing is real until you feel it. Your senses are the gateway between you and the outside world. Sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell bring in signals every second. But here's the truth. These senses are limited. They do not capture everything. They only give you a narrow slice of reality. Think about vision. You cannot see all colors. You only see a small part of the light spectrum. Yet you call that your reality. The same happens with sound. You only hear a range of frequencies. Beyond that range, the world is still active, but your senses miss it. Your brain fills in the gaps. It edits the information to make sense of it. This means the reality you think you see is already filtered. It is not the raw truth. It is a version built for survival and efficiency, not for total accuracy. Once you know this, you realize something powerful. Reality itself is flexible. It depends on what your senses can process and how your brain interprets it. What feels real to you is just one version of a much bigger picture. Emotions act like lenses on your eyes. They change how you see the world. When you are afraid, shadows look darker, and problems look bigger. When you are joyful, colors appear brighter, and people seem friendlier. Reality bends to your emotional state. Science shows that emotions direct attention. Fear makes you focus on threats. Love makes you focus on connection. Anger narrows your view. Peace widens it. What you feel in the moment decides what parts of reality you notice and what parts you ignore. This means two people in the same place do not live the same reality. One who feels fear may see danger. Another who feels calm may see opportunity. Same world, two different realities, both shaped by emotion. Your feelings are not just background noise. They are the engine that decides how real something feels to you. If you want to change your reality, start with your emotions. Shift how you feel, and the world around you transforms with it. Modern psychology shows that emotions are not fixed things. They are not hardwired reactions. Instead, emotions are constructed by the brain. Your brain takes signals from the body, combines them with past experiences, and builds what you call fear, joy, or sadness. This means emotions are not universal truths. They are personal interpretations. Two people in the same situation may feel very different things. One may feel excited, while the other feels nervous. Reality changes depending on how the brain builds emotion. Your concepts and memories play a key role. If your brain has a memory of success, it may construct confidence. If it remembers failure, it may build fear. The brain is constantly mixing past and present to create emotional reality. Understanding this theory is powerful. It shows that emotions can be reshaped. By changing thoughts and memories you focus on, you can change the emotions your brain constructs. And when emotions shift, reality itself feels different. Expectations are not just thoughts. They are silent instructions to the brain and body. When you expect failure, you unconsciously act in ways that increase the chance of failure. When you expect success, you align your behavior toward success. This is called the self-fulfilling prophecy. Reality bends around your expectations. The way you walk, speak, and decide is influenced by what you believe will happen. The world responds to those signals. Think of interviews, tests, or relationships. If you expect rejection, you may hesitate, avoid eye contact, and weaken your own chances. But if you expect acceptance, you move with confidence. The outcome begins to match the belief. This shows why feelings matter. Reality is not fixed. Your inner expectation turns into outer experience. Every belief becomes a seed planted in the soil of reality. Behavioral confirmation explains how beliefs influence not only you but also others. If you believe someone dislikes you, you may act distant. That person then responds with distance, confirming your belief. The cycle feeds itself. In this way, your internal story shapes external behavior. What you feel becomes visible through tone, posture, and attitude. People respond to these signals, often without realizing it. Imagine thinking a coworker is unfriendly. You avoid them, give short answers, and hold back smiles. They sense your coldness and act cold too. Suddenly, your original belief becomes the reality. This is why feelings and beliefs carry so much weight. They are not hidden. They leak into behavior, creating the reality you feared or hoped for. Change the inner story, and you change the outer response. Every emotion starts with a thought. A single idea can trigger a wave of feeling. Thinking, "I can't do this," sparks fear. Thinking, "I am ready," sparks courage. Thoughts plant the seed, and feelings grow from it. The brain reacts to thoughts as if they were real events. When you imagine a problem, your heart rate rises, and your muscles tighten. When you imagine peace, your body relaxes. Reality in the mind becomes reality in the body. This connection is why positive affirmations and visualization can be powerful. They are not magic. They are thought patterns that shape feelings, which then shape actions. The loop begins in the mind. By mastering thoughts, you gain control over feelings. And when feelings change, the way you experience reality changes too. Thought is the first step toward making reality feel real. Your mind does not separate strongly between imagination and reality. If you truly feel something, your brain treats it as if it already exists. This is why fear of a future event feels real, even if it has not happened. Feelings have power because they anchor experiences in the nervous system. A fact without emotion fades quickly, but a fact tied to strong feelings becomes memory, becomes truth, becomes part of your identity. This is why motivation is fueled by emotion, not just logic. You may know what to do, but until you feel it, you will not act. Action begins when the body senses reality through feeling. In the end, reality becomes real only when you embody it emotionally. Feeling is the bridge between thought and experience. Without it, ideas remain empty. With it, reality takes form. The placebo effect is one of the clearest proofs that feelings shape reality. When a person believes a pill will heal them, their body often begins to improve, even if the pill is just sugar. The belief itself creates real changes. Science shows the brain releases chemicals based on belief. Endorphins and dopamine can reduce pain and boost healing. This means reality in the mind becomes reality in the body, without any outside medicine. The placebo effect also shows the importance of trust and expectation. When a doctor gives hope, the patient feels safe. That feeling unlocks healing responses. The body listens to the mind. This is not weakness. It is power. The placebo effect proves that your belief and feeling can alter biology. Reality bends not just around facts, but around what feels real to you. The illusory truth effect explains why repetition makes things feel true. When you hear a statement again and again, your brain grows familiar with it. That familiarity feels safe, and safety feels true. Even false ideas can begin to feel real. This effect is everywhere. Advertisements repeat slogans until they stick. News headlines echo the same claims. Social media feeds recycle phrases until people start believing them. Reality bends under the weight of repetition. Your brain does not always check facts every time. Instead, it trusts what feels familiar. This shortcut saves energy, but it also means falsehoods can slip into your reality. Feeling replaces fact. The lesson is clear. Guard your attention. What you hear often will start to feel true. Choose carefully what voices you allow into your mind. Reality becomes what you let repeat inside you. There is a difference between psychological reality and physical reality. Physical reality is what exists outside: objects, matter, measurable facts. Psychological reality is what exists inside: beliefs, emotions, and interpretations. To you, psychological reality feels just as real as the physical. A nightmare can make your body sweat and heart race, even though nothing physical is happening. The brain treats the imagined as if it were real. Confusion happens when we forget the difference. We assume what we feel inside must match what exists outside. But often, our psychological reality paints over the physical world, adding colors that may not be there. When you recognize the two layers of reality, you gain freedom. You see that your inner feelings shape your world as much as outer facts. That awareness allows you to take control of your inner lens. Not all memories are equal. Some stay sharp and vivid. Others fade away. What makes the difference is feeling. Memories tied to strong emotions feel more real and last longer. Think of your happiest day, or your most painful moment. Those memories are clear because emotion burned them into your mind. Emotion gives memory strength, and strength gives memory the weight of reality. Science shows that emotional events activate parts of the brain linked to survival. This makes the memory stick. Neutral events, with no strong feelings, often disappear. Reality that feels emotional becomes reality that lasts. This is why storytelling and life experiences stay with us. The stories that moved us become our truth. They become part of who we are. Memory and emotion together define what reality feels like. Belief is the filter through which you see the world. It shapes what you notice and what you ignore. If you believe people are kind, you see kindness everywhere. If you believe the world is cruel, you see cruelty. Beliefs are not just opinions. They are programs running in the background of your mind. They guide choices, actions, and even emotions. Your life moves in the direction of your strongest beliefs. The danger is that beliefs can be invisible. You may not even realize you hold them, yet they quietly define your limits, your opportunities, and your sense of what is real. When you change your beliefs, you change your world. The reality you experience begins to shift. Belief is not just a thought. It is the architect of your personal reality. Imagination is one of the brain's most powerful tools. When you imagine something vividly, your brain reacts as if it is happening. Athletes use this to practice movements in their minds, and their muscles improve without touching the field. Visualization activates the same neural pathways as real action. The body cannot always tell the difference. This is why daydreams can make your heart race or bring peace, even without physical events. Reality begins in imagination. Every invention, every plan, every change in life starts as a mental picture. Once the picture feels real, the body and actions follow. This proves the power of feeling. Imagination alone is not enough. But when you add emotion to your vision, the brain begins to accept it as real. That is how future realities are created today. Trauma changes the way the brain records and recalls reality. When something deeply painful happens, the nervous system goes on high alert. The body floods with stress chemicals. This locks the memory into place with unusual strength. Because of this, trauma makes certain details hyper-real. Sounds, smells, or images from that moment can replay years later with the same intensity. For the person, it feels like the event is happening again, even though it is not. At the same time, trauma can also block out or distort parts of reality. The brain sometimes hides painful details to protect itself. This is why traumatic memories can be both too sharp and strangely incomplete. The lesson is clear. Trauma reshapes reality. What feels real to the survivor is not only the event itself, but also the emotional imprint it left. Healing often means teaching the brain a new way to feel safe again. The mind and body are not separate. They are two parts of the same system. When you think a stressful thought, your body reacts. Your heart beats faster. Your muscles tense. Your breath shortens. This is proof that feelings in the mind create physical changes in the body. Fear feels real because your body responds as if danger is here. Joy feels real because your body releases chemicals that create warmth and calm. The connection works both ways. Move your body with power, and your mind begins to feel confident. Slow your breathing, and your thoughts calm down. Body and mind mirror each other in every moment. This is why awareness of the body is key to shaping reality. By guiding your physical state, you guide your mental state. Reality becomes not just what you think, but what you feel in your body. Expectation shapes what you see. When you expect something, your brain looks for it. It fills in patterns to confirm your belief. This makes your expectations feel real, even before they are proven. Surprise, however, breaks this pattern. A sudden unexpected event grabs your full attention. That is why surprises feel so vivid and memorable. They force the brain to stop predicting and start noticing. Expectation builds comfort, but it can blind you to new possibilities. Surprise shakes you, but it can open doors you never considered. Reality becomes a balance between what you expect and what you allow yourself to be surprised by. The mix of expectation and surprise is what shapes life stories. Too much expectation makes life predictable. Too much surprise makes it chaotic. Together they create the feeling of a reality that is alive and dynamic. Humans are social creatures. What others believe about us often shapes how real we feel. Validation from friends, family, or society gives weight to our own beliefs. When someone agrees with us, our reality feels stronger. This is why encouragement is so powerful. A single compliment can make you feel capable. A word of support can turn doubt into confidence. Reality feels more solid when it is reflected back to us by others. But the opposite is also true. When others dismiss your reality, it can feel like the ground beneath you is shaking. You start to doubt yourself, even if your experience is real. External validation can either build or break your inner world. This shows how deeply connected we are. Reality is not built alone. It is shaped in the space between you and those around you. What others reflect back often decides how true your reality feels. Culture is a powerful builder of reality. From birth, you are taught what is normal, what is valuable, and what is true. These shared beliefs create a collective reality that everyone in the culture accepts. What feels real in one culture may feel unreal in another. Traditions, symbols, and social rules shape perception. A gesture of respect in one country might be meaningless, or even offensive in another. Shared reality makes life easier because it gives people common ground, but it can also limit because it hides other possible realities. You see only what your culture trains you to see. When you step outside your culture, you notice how flexible reality is. What felt absolute at home may look relative abroad. This proves again that reality is not fixed. It is created, shared, and reinforced by the group. Habits are powerful shapers of reality. What you do every day begins to feel natural. Repetition makes actions automatic, and automatic actions create the structure of your life. Reality becomes the sum of your repeated choices. Think about brushing your teeth or driving a car. At first, these required effort. Over time, repetition made them feel easy. Now they feel so real and normal that you rarely question them. Habits build a sense of stability in your world. The same is true for mental habits. Repeating the same thoughts again and again turns them into beliefs. Beliefs then become reality. If you constantly tell yourself you are capable, that story becomes real in your mind. Repetition is both a tool and a trap. It can create growth if you repeat empowering actions. It can also create limits if you repeat harmful patterns. The key is choosing habits that build the reality you want to live in. Fear changes the way the brain sees the world. When fear is active, the brain focuses on threats and danger. Small risks can feel huge. Harmless situations can appear unsafe. Reality shrinks under the weight of fear. Anxiety magnifies this distortion. Instead of seeing what is, the mind imagines what could go wrong. The future plays out in the brain like a movie. and the body reacts as if it is already happening. This is why people under stress often make poor decisions. Their perception is not balanced. They act as if their imagined danger is real, even when no danger exists. Fear has turned possibility into reality. The good news is that awareness breaks the cycle. By noticing how fear and anxiety distort perception, you can step back. You can remind yourself that feelings are not always facts. This opens the door to a clearer reality. Love and joy create the opposite effect of fear. Instead of shrinking your vision, they expand it. When you feel safe and connected, your brain opens up. You notice beauty, opportunity, and connection that fear would hide. Positive emotions activate brain systems linked to creativity and problem solving. This is why moments of joy often bring fresh ideas. The world looks larger, brighter, and more full of possibility. Think about falling in love. The smallest details suddenly matter. The way someone laughs, the color of the sky, the sound of music. Love makes everything feel more alive, more real, more important. This shows that emotions do not just color reality, they expand or contract it. When you cultivate joy, you are not just feeling better, you are living in a bigger, richer version of reality. Doubt plays a unique role in shaping reality. When you doubt something, it feels less real, less solid. Skepticism holds reality at a distance, testing it before accepting it. This can be healthy. Skepticism protects you from lies and illusions. It forces you to question and investigate before fully believing. Doubt slows the process of making something feel real. But too much doubt can block growth. If you doubt every opportunity, you never take action. If you doubt your own abilities, you never test them. In this way, skepticism can freeze reality in place. The balance is key. Use doubt to protect against false realities, but don't let it stop you from creating new ones. Reality requires both testing and trusting to fully form. Mindfulness is the practice of noticing reality as it is. When you pay attention to the present moment without judgment, you see more clearly. You stop living in past regrets or future fears, and you return to what is real now. Awareness changes how reality feels. A simple breath, when noticed, becomes an anchor. Eating a meal slowly makes the flavors more vivid. Walking mindfully makes the world richer. Mindfulness also exposes how often feelings distort perception. By watching your thoughts and emotions, you see that they rise and fall like waves. They are not permanent. They do not define reality unless you hold on to them. With practice, mindfulness becomes a tool to reshape your world. Instead of letting emotions control reality, you observe them. This gives you freedom to choose which feelings you allow to become real. Belief is not just something that happens to you, it is a choice. You decide which stories to repeat in your mind and which voices to trust. Every choice of belief shapes the reality you live in. If you choose to believe in your own strength, you begin to act stronger. If you choose to believe life is against you, you begin to see obstacles everywhere. Beliefs are not passive, they are active builders of reality. This choice is not always easy. Old patterns and social pressure try to control what you believe, but awareness gives you power. You can step back and ask, does this belief serve me, or does it limit me? When you realize belief is a choice, you gain freedom. You are no longer trapped by old stories. You are free to build a new reality, one belief at a time. Testing reality begins with awareness. Ask yourself, is this fact, or is it just a feeling? This simple question creates space between what exists outside and what you are experiencing inside. Your body gives clues. If your heart races at an imagined fear, notice it. If your breath calms in safety, notice that too. The body often reveals whether your reality is based on fact or emotion. Context also helps. Look at the situation from different angles. Ask for feedback from others. Reality that holds true from many perspectives is stronger than one shaped only by emotion. Testing reality is not about denying feelings. It is about balancing them with facts. When you combine both, you build a clearer, truer version of reality. The outer world may not change overnight, but your inner reality can. By shifting your thoughts, you shift your emotions. By shifting your emotions, you shift the way the world feels to you. One simple practice is reframing. Instead of saying, "This is too hard," Say, this is a challenge I can grow from. The outer situation is the same, but the inner reality becomes more empowering. Visualization also changes inner reality. When you picture success with strong emotion, your brain rehearses it. The feeling becomes familiar, and familiarity makes it feel real. Changing inner reality does not mean ignoring problems. It means meeting them with a new perspective. The stronger your inner reality becomes, the more it shapes your outer world. Thinking is logical, but feeling is powerful. You can think about an idea for years and never act on it, but once you feel it deeply, action follows. Feeling moves the body in ways thought alone cannot. This is why people remember experiences more than instructions. A lecture may be forgotten, but a moment of deep emotion stays forever. Feeling is what makes ideas stick. In decision-making, people often claim they rely on logic, but studies show feelings drive most choices. The mind builds reasons afterward. Feeling creates the spark, and thought organizes it. To shape your reality, focus on the feeling. When thought and feeling align, the result is powerful. But when they clash, feeling usually wins. Reality becomes real only when it is felt. Not every feeling leads to truth. Sometimes false beliefs feel real. Delusions, fears, and misinformation can trick the brain. When a false idea feels true, it can shape harmful realities. This is why critical thinking is vital. Question what you feel, test it against evidence, and seek different perspectives. Without this step, emotions can trap you in false realities. False realities can spread quickly. Repetition, social pressure, and fear make them stronger. Entire groups can live inside a shared false reality, convinced it is true. The danger is clear. Feeling without checking can mislead. Balance is the key. Let feelings give energy, but let reason guide direction. That is how you protect your reality from illusion.